Greetings everybody, this is Keith Swenson again, and I would like to bring you up to date on the new capabilities that have been added into Weaver in the last quarter. I'll give you a quick rundown of all of that. The first thing is the server is bigger now. We had to add more memory. It was running out of space, and when it did, the emails stopped sending, and this now has been resolved with the new. There's a number of features around meetings. The first is that if you are editing the meeting notes, there's a couple of changes. First of all, is when you click here, it goes into editing. If that's not what you wanted, there's a new close button here so that you can close that back down. Another thing is that right here you can add action items and add documents without having to go over to the meeting mode to do that. The third thing is there are some people who want to look at this view, but they don't actually want to do any editing. You can click the view only mode, and that allows you to do things like select text in here, because when you're in edit mode, it starts the editor and you can't actually. So this sort of makes it easier for people who actually don't want to be editing but still want to see this mode. In the meetings, there's always been this ability to track agenda items. There's a start button to start the timer, and there's always been a stop button at the bottom, but we added a stop button here to make it easier to stop the timer when you want to do that. A really big change is the addition of the meeting templates. So a template is a way of displaying. You can display different ways. Here's a sort of a full-featured template. If you want just the agenda, you can get just the agenda. If you want the minutes, I don't know if this meeting has minutes, then you can have just the minutes. And for all of these different types of displays, there is the ability to print it. So that basically just fills the whole screen with the thing. And now you can print this without getting all of the border and everything else. So it's a nice way to print out information about your meetings. When you have a draft meeting and you want to post it, that is, make it live for everybody, when you click post, you have the ability to set the participants, and you can, at this point, you can either post it without email, or you can post and prepare email. So what that's going to do is put you right here into the mode where you can now send an email to everybody about this meeting that you're planning. When you're voting on proposed meeting times, if users have entered some possible values into the proposed time, there's now, if you try to remove one of those, there's a warning prompt here to make sure that you don't accidentally remove times that users have already voted on. One big change is that when you are pasting formatted text from another source like an HTML or a Word document, it does a much better job of recognizing the paragraphs than it did in the past. You're probably already familiar with the fact that when a comment goes out or a topic goes out, you have an ability to reply or to comment on it, and you are brought into this anonymous reply window that allows people who are not authenticated to actually reply to comments and to go back to people. This allows you to have online discussions a much more easy way. This window now works not only for discussion topics, it also works for meeting agenda items. In the document list, when you download a document, it will remember and record that in history, and you'll see that in two places. One is if you look at the versions, it will now show you the history of the document, when it was uploaded, when it was downloaded, when it was created, will all be on there now, and you'll also see that on the front page in the recent history if somebody's downloaded a document. This makes it easier for you to track who has and who has not received documents. When it comes to managing roles, there was a problem in the past that if you pasted a large list of email addresses, that sometimes that email address, that long list, would be interpreted as one big long email address with a lot of commas in it, and that doesn't work. And then it would be very confusing then on where you'd have this confusing email address in there that wasn't really an email address. So now when you paste a long list of email addresses, they will be properly parsed into separate email address pieces. Another very nice feature is the ability to link roles together. So you can make up a name like Global Members, and you can link a role to that name, and then whoever's assigned to that global role, so to speak, across multiple workspaces, this will all be synchronized. So I can have a bunch of roles linked to the same name. And if I do, when I change one of those roles, it will change all of the others at the same time. When you go to invite people to the workspace, I can paste a list of addresses and send invitations, and it puts them in this list down here. You can then track and see when the email's been sent. So you no longer have to wait for this to happen in the browser itself and wait for the email to be sent. It's done in the background. If you're a site owner, you can set the list of colors which are available for your workspaces, for the labels in the workspaces. You can add new colors. Okay, when people are not logged in to the site, and this will happen to anybody who's hitting the site for the very first time, if they don't have a login, they will have a option right here. They can just enter their email address in here, send a confirmation message, and then they go and answer that message. They will then be able to set themselves up. So it kind of shortens the effort to get signed up. On every page, there's now a training link on the left-hand side. And there's a new training video on how to use Weaver for a discussion list. So I hope you enjoy this quick summary of the new features that are available in Weaver, and I hope that this allows you to use it better. And please, if you have any other good ideas, please let us know.